In this video, we're going to take a look at how the choices we make in regards framing our subject can drastically affect our final render times. Hey there, my name is Rocco, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to make the most out of DAZ 3D and to get the best out of your renders, then welcome to you, and make sure you hit the subscribe and the little notification bell down below so that you don't miss a thing. If you've been here before, then welcome back, and I much appreciate you spending your time watching my videos. Now, what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take a look at how the aspect ratio and the resolution of our viewport can dramatically impact upon our render times. First of all though, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our scene. As you can see, we've got a Genesis 8 female model loaded in. In this case it's GDN River, as you can see up here, and she's been created by Valerie 3D. We have a dress in a little small top, a pair of jeans and a pair of sandals, and as usual we've stuck some hair onto the top of her head. The scene itself is just a little small studio scene, lit up by a HDRI map and of course this emitter disc just off to her right hand side. Now if we come up into our camera, we can see that we've got River centered right in the middle of the viewport, because all that we're going to do is just do this top half body shot with her, and as you can see she's in the middle of the viewport, but what we've got is all of this dead space either side of her. She's in the middle third, but the 2/3 on the outside is just dead space. Now this isn't a video on how you should frame characters or whether this is right or wrong what I'm doing. What this is doing is just going to look at what can happen to our render times if maybe we make a few wrong decisions or bad decisions in regards how we do frame the subjects in our render. Now the reason that this dead space exists is because if we come over into our render settings, we can see that we have our aspect ratio set at 16 width and a height of 9. That means for every 6 pixels from left to right, there are 9 pixels from top to bottom. And the actual size of our resolution is 1920 by 1080, which, as you should know, is the actual HD resolution that you find on your TV or something, probably your monitor that you're looking at. So because of that, and we have the character centered in the middle of the viewport, there's a lot of dead space around here. And so what we're going to do, we're going to run this render, we'll render it out in this aspect ratio and this resolution, we'll make a note of the times, and then we'll change the aspect ratio and the resolution of the image, and then we'll just see what impact that has on the render times. So I'll be back in a moment once this render is done. And so here we are now then with the render complete. For you, due to the powers of editing, you've only been away for a second or two, whereas as you can see down in the bottom corner here, I've been away for 11 minutes and 45 seconds just waiting for this render to complete. Well, I say complete, we only ever do these speed tests up to 1,000 iterations. How long it is, it doesn't really matter, as long as we've got a sufficient amount of time that's passed that we can get good comparisons. And so now that we're back in DAZ, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the render settings, and we're going to change the aspect ratio to a width of 10 and a height of 13. And as you can see on the pixel size as well, that has changed. So what we'll do, we'll change the height back to 1080 that it was previously, and what it's done is it's created a new width for us for the viewport. It was previously 1920, it's now 831. And so now as we come back out and we take a look through our viewport, you can see everything's a little bit more compact now. All of this dead space that was in the viewport previously is now outside the viewport, and Iray is not going to have to render that now. Now what I'm going to do before we rerun the render on our newly sized viewport is I'm just going to pop up into the environment tab, and on the backdrop I'm just going to change the overlay colour just so that we can see the difference when we overlay the two results a bit later. It won't affect the render time, but it's just easier for us to tell which shot is which. So what I'll do, I'll set that off to render, and I'll get back to you again when it's done. And now here we are back looking at our original render that we did, the 1920 by 1080 resolution image, which we did in 11 minutes and 45 seconds. And now as we overlay the newly rendered smaller compacted viewport that we looked through, we can clearly see just how much of the background that we didn't have to render. But just how much time did we save, if any? Well, of course, we saved some, otherwise this would be a pretty pointless video. Well, let's have a look. As you can see, the second, more compact viewport rendered out in 6 minutes and 55 seconds, which is a saving of a massive 42%. It was almost twice as quick, which, to be honest, is a little bit quicker than I thought it would have been. And so, therefore, the moral of this story is this: unless you absolutely have to have a larger viewport than what maybe a scene would require, whether it's for artistic reasons or whether it's for practical reasons, do everything that you can to lower the size of your viewport. Every line of pixels, whether it's across the top or down one of the sides that you can cut from your final rendered image, it's going to be quicker. It's going to be much quicker. If you need it larger, then you need it larger, and you can't really do much about that. And it's just going to take a longer time to render. It's as simple as that. So make sure that you've hit subscribe and the little notification bell that's next to it. And while you're at it, if you found this video useful, give me a like down below. It'll really help me out with the YouTube algorithms. Also, if you have any questions on this video or any questions about Daz in general, just pop them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to get around to them as soon as I possibly can. So, thank you for staying to the end and I'll catch you later. Bye bye now.